Hey guys, Zach Melton here. I'm going to be testing out the new dynamic disc Maverick. It is a fairway driver and it's a little understable from what I've heard. I haven't got a chance to throw them. I had to throw them for the first time. It has a nice feel in the hand, very comfortable, very shallow, compact feel, and it's supposed to be a little understable, so let's see how it flies. Oh, that is nice. That's real nice.
You like that one?
Yeah, very first throw with it. Popped it out. We have a right to left crosswind. Popped it out with a little bit of hyzer. And you can see it got up to flat. Went straight, little bit of drift, but it actually had some hyzer at the very end, which surprised me. So I'm gonna try to do the same shot. A little bit of hyzer, let it pop up. Sweet. I'm impressed. That one I put a little more hyzer on accidentally, and it actually never flipped. It got up to flat, went straight, then hyzered. Like the Maverick.
All right, here we have the Maverick. I currently throw a Fury, and I've heard that it's a lot like that, maybe more, a little more stable. It feels great in my hand, little domey profile, but it feels really good. I'm hoping I can get this to go really straight, maybe turn some, and it's a little windy today, so we'll see what it can handle. I threw that a little nose up, but it went straight, which is nice. I'm expecting if I can get it flat and to cut into the wind better, that it'll turn a little bit more based on how it just held that dead straight line. That actually has a lot of glide on it, which is something I think my Furies kind of lack, is they don't glide that much. But that seems to fight wind. It still turned, which I wanted it to, but it still finished out, so it does have some stability to it. All right, last one. Let's see. I'm gonna throw this on a super hyzer and see what it'll do for me. It still fights and goes dead straight, but it fought the turn that time, which I think this is going to be a versatile disc and really useful for anyone with a slower arm speed for sure. And great for straight tunnels and wooded golf.
So moving on to the Maverick, the fairway driver, we got that tail right to left now, and I think this disc is going to be a really straight flyer for most, but what I'm going to try and do is actually get some turnover angles fighting into this wind to see how much we can do. And also we're going to try it on a sidearm. It's going to be an easy, effortless sidearm if we hit it right, because that glide is going to kick in and really carry the disc a long way. So with that wind, it didn't really want to turn into the wind, which is good. So we know that it's going to be a straight pattern. So with this wind, it's not going to hyzer very hard if we hit it with a good amount of speed and get that disc level. So what that means is this is going to be a very point and shoot disc when it comes to tailwinds and even right to left winds, so that you can really trust that if you need to pinpoint yourself in a fairway or wooded situation, you can trust the Maverick. We'll see it on a sidearm and then we'll throw one more. So, what we saw on the sidearm, even though it was a low release, the disc has a lot of glide, so it never really wanted to find the ground. So that'll be great, especially low ceilings, tight wooded areas, and staying underneath the wind is also a really good thing, because that's a place where a lot of players tend to find trouble, is whenever they get the disc up and then it's exposed to everything and it flies like a kite. So the Maverick is going to be really good in those situations where we need to stay low and accurate. Let's try a roller. Let's see how this thing rolls. I'm gonna try and hit this really hard and get some really good distance on this roller. Now, the wind isn't great for it, but if I hit it and I force it onto its angle, I think we can get this thing to roll really far. Good, consistent, understable roller that you can trust. And honestly, I think it's gonna be great as a complement to the Thief, where it doesn't finish as hard as the Thief. So it is a tick more understable than the Thief, but it has a little bit more glide. Now, on that roller, you're definitely gonna see it flip over a little bit faster. So if you need to lay something down and have it roll to the right quick, it's gonna be great for that shot. Again, like we said, for the sidearms, it's gonna be money when you need that glide. For backhand turnovers, depending on the wind situation, you can get a lot of action right, or like we had now, you get a really, really straight flight. And I think that's gonna be a good disc for a lot of players that maybe didn't like the feel of the Thief, but wanted that nice fairway driver feel, similar to a Latitude 64 Fury, but I think it's gonna be even better than that.
So I've got a few shots out with the Maverick so far. Really like this disc, by the way. I am pretty confident the Maverick will go into my bag when they're released. Probably 98% sure. This thing flies really good. Got a left to right crosswind, so I'm gonna see how it handles a forehand. I think I'm gonna try to throw it smooth, a little bit of hyzer, and see how it pops up and reacts to this kind of head cross. Number 2. Numero 3. Crossing. Bad. Oh yeah, so comparing the Maverick, I think for my throws with it, I would say that if you like the Escape, but you want something a little slower, not as much glide, doesn't go as far as the Escape, I think the Maverick will be the disc you want. It's definitely slower than the Escape, doesn't go as far, and I think it flies a little bit more stable than an Escape. Like an Escape, you throw hard on hyzer, you can still get it to pop up and flip. And I think the Maverick, you can throw hard on hyzer and you're gonna get that pop up, and it may drift a little, but it's gonna come back. I think it's stability wise a little more stable than an Escape, but it's definitely slower, so.
All right, the Maverick. I think this is gonna be a favorite. Something that I haven't really been missing from my bag, but the difference between this and a Fury is like just enough that it's something I really want, especially for wooded golf. But sidearm too, I think when I can get this up on a sidearm, it's gonna go really straight and turn a little bit just to get that wooded golf really dialed in. So I'm gonna throw it in a tailwind, try to get it as flat as possible and see if I can get it to go very straight. Super straight flyer. It's gonna be great, and it still has that finish. I think in a tailwind, it's going to be good for those distance shots because it's not turning a lot and losing a bunch of its distance, and it's still going to finish, so reliable. All right, let's see what it'll do in a tailwind on a hyzer. It'll hit a tree. But it held the line great. It did exactly what I wanted it to do. You can still use it as a stable disc, which is great. It'll still keep that hyzer. It's not going to flip up too much, at least not in a tailwind.
So we've got the Maverick. You've thrown it a couple times. Pretty straight, slightly understable fairway, would you say?
Yeah, it definitely has that understable flight. It has a good feel in the rim. I think it has a similar flight to the Thief, but definitely has a more driver-like edge where the Thief is a little bit more blunt. So
what are you expecting out of it with this kind of crosswind?
Similar to the Patrol, but maybe we'll actually see that full flight out, not hitting it too hard, just a controlled fairway shot, and allowing the disc to flip up and ride and carry with it with the tremendous glide that it has. So you wouldn't need much of a sidearm if you can throw this disc like I just did. I got a lot of help from the wind. Like I said earlier with the Patrol, is once that wing got exposed, the wind carried it. The best part about that flight is that it didn't carry into its edge. It carried into a flat finish to where you're getting a soft settle. So if I was trying to throw a turnover, maybe there were trees this direction, I didn't have any action rolling away from the basket. It would settle soft and scoot, hopefully, right underneath it to get that birdie. So,
what are you changing on this shot?
This one, I'm gonna really actually try and hammer on it with more hyzer, and I wanna see if we can keep the disc on that hyzer and not let the wing get exposed. So, we see that even with a lot of power, this disc will flip up and flip and ride so it doesn't stay in the air as long, but I maybe hit that a little low, but I might have hit it too hard. Like I was trying to throw a little too hard, and this disc doesn't like that. So we definitely want to make sure that we kind of keep it smooth on that flight. So we're gonna try again, nice and easy, smooth on a hyzer. That's what I think people are going to expect more out of that flight, where it hyzer flipped up, a little bit of action to the right, but not a lot of finish at the end. Good forward progress, settling soft. That's a good fairway driver.